to another edition of Realities May Vary. I'm Brian Noonan. With me, as always, nobody. Yes, realities are definitely varying tonight because my reality today is that I am alone. Now, normally Cody Gough is here, and I am always happy to be with Cody because really, when I'm doing this by myself, it is not nearly as much fun. But, what are you going to do? Here's the thing. I didn't want to cancel today because we just came back last week after not being here for 2 weeks. And so I thought to myself, oh man, this is going to be ridiculous. If Cody's not here and I cancel, people are going to wonder. They're going to wonder about our dedication. They're going to wonder about the fact, do we really want to do this show? Are we really in it for the long haul? Or am I just a lazy bum who, as soon as there's any adversity, bails on it? Well, you can call me a hero because here I am. That's right. I called myself a hero, and you can call me a hero as well. So what happened to Cody? Did he quit? No, of course not. I'm starting to worry. I got to be honest. I'm worrying that Cody is a little bit sickly. Now that he's moved to the suburbs, now that he has a child and a wife and a house and a mortgage and a job and he never leaves the house, I'm starting to think he's sickly. He's becoming a frail, sickly little man because this is the text I got from him at about 12 o'clock this afternoon. It says, thanks, just woke up. Wait, that's the second text. First text came at 10 o'clock this morning. Howdy. He's very country. Very easy to get along with. Cody's a man of the people. Since I am a frail, fragile man-child, I woke up feeling sick with a sore throat, so TBD on tonight's show. I don't know if it's a cold, COVID, low blood sugar, lack of sleep, drowsy from medicine, hard to diagnose as a diabetic dad during a pandemic. I'm going to try to nap and see if I'm good. I'll update you in a couple hours. Hopefully it's nothing. I need more vitamin C or something. So that's the first text. Then a couple hours later, 12:23, thanks. Just woke up and yeah, my throat is on fire, taking a sick day and medicating. And he's got two emojis. One is sad and one has a thermometer. I think I caught whatever my son has. He's definitely sick also. So that's Cody is ill, and that's never good. So I wish him well, obviously. So does Linda in the comments. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Cody is going to realize this, and I think any of us who are parents also realize this. Once you have a child, you are always going to get sick because those children are just bacteria factories. They do nothing except spread germs. They're like little sprinklers of germs and disease, those oscillating sprinklers, and they're always spraying things around, and they're hacking, and they're coughing, and especially his son's just over a year old. The kid doesn't know how to cover his mouth, doesn't know to use a Kleenex, doesn't know to sanitize his hands. He's just spewing all kinds of filth all over the house, and he's a lovely child. Cody knows that I'm very fond of his son, but it's probably part of it. So he caught whatever his son has. Hopefully it's not the other way around. And I'll know more tomorrow. You'll know more next week, I guess, because I'm not gonna tell him, hey man, get out of your sick bed. What are you just gonna tell you got a sore throat? Boo hoo. Let's go. Quit being a little baby. Suck it up. Let's do the show. But I'm here. So if there are a couple things to talk about, we'll keep it a little short this week because what the heck? It's so weird sitting here just pontificating. I've always hated just the radio or broadcast or podcast that it's just a monologue from a guy because, if you listen to the radio show for any amount of time, it was never just me. It was always an ensemble of goofiness. And so when there's not an ensemble of goofiness, it's very strange. And it's not, and also because like on stage, when I do stand-up, which I will plug an upcoming event. If you are in the northern suburbs or in Wisconsin, holy cow, you don't want to miss this. It's going to be a fancy pants little event. But that put aside, on stage, it's fine because there's people in front of me. Here, all that's in front of me is the computer, and I feel kind of weird. But let's segue, because the big story of the week, personally, which is why we're all here, to, hear me ramble on about my life. The big story here was my return to WGN on Friday night. Yes, it was. I'm going to be I'm not, well, there's nothing I could say I got nothing to lose, but there's also really nothing bad I could say. But I will start off by saying it was a lot harder to return there than I thought it would be. If you missed it, Dave Plyer had asked me to be on his show on Friday night to do an hour where we were going to roast / pay tribute to Roger Badish, who is retiring. Sunday night is his last night on WGN. Now, Roger and I go way back. He was the newsman on my Friday night overnight shows. I've stayed friends with Roger for years, and Roger's a great guy. And Dave's a great guy too. So when he asked me if I would come on the show, first I said yes, and then I said to him, and if you were here with us in the last week, I mentioned this near the end. I said to him, "Hey, are you sure it's going to be okay?" And he said, "Oh yeah, they said you could be on anytime," which is weird, but I let that go. And I was like, okay, cool. And there was a lot of nice response when I told people I was going to be on again. So that was great. Go down Friday night, and I had joked about wondering if my key card would still work. Spoiler alert, it does not. So now, not only is it weird when I pull into the parking garage and I go upstairs into the lobby, which has been redone since I was last there, I go over and I slap my card down on the reader and it makes that beep like it used to do when I would get in. And I was like, ha ha, Daddy's home. No, Daddy was locked out of the house. Daddy was kept in the yard. And so I had to, this was probably the most humiliating part. When I had to call up to Dave's producer, Tom, who I've known for years. Tom used to produce for Nick, and now he produces for Dave and John Landecker. Great guy. I have to call Tom and go, "Hey man, my card doesn't work anymore. I need somebody to come down and bring me up to the studio." I wish I could just brush it off. It was not like I wasn't crushed. I didn't roll up on the ball on the floor of the lobby and start crying like a baby. But I was like, all right, well, that's that. So we go up, and there's a whole new elevator system. And Roger came down to get me. And you know that had to make Roger so happy that he had to come let me in, because his key still works, but next Monday it's not going to work. Anyway. Roger, by the way, programming note, Roger will be on with us next week when he is officially retired from WGN, and he is going to, that's right, he's going to spill the tea. He's going to dish the dirt. I told him it's no holds barred. We're going to go for it. So next Tuesday, Roger is going to be here. So Roger comes down and gets me, and we go up, and I'm early, as I always am, because I like to be prepared and ready to go. And Dave had been nice and called me when I was driving in and goes, "Hey man, I saw your post. Don't think of yourself as a guest. You know, you're coming in to do the show." I was like, "No, man, it's your show. That's not an issue. I'm going to have fun. We're going to have a good time." So I get down there, and Dave is in the first part of his show, and I walk around a little bit because Cody had asked me to go see if my name was still on our locker. It was not. It had been scratched off. So no locker, no key card. And here's the thing. It was really weird because I'd come to terms with the fact that they weren't going to have us back, or me back. And for whatever reason, they never told us we weren't coming back. They never gave us a reason. We just faded away, I guess. So I had come to terms with that until I actually had to walk in and face it. But that's my own personal weirdness, so I don't want to, we're not going to burden ourselves with my psychosis. You guys aren't my therapist. I pay my therapist, and not really a lot of money, but I pay him, which could explain a lot. Anyway, so we go in, and I got to tell you, Dave always very welcoming. It was so great to see Dave, and so great to see Tom, and good to see Roger. I've seen Roger, more recently, so it wasn't like, oh, I haven't seen you in years. And we start the show, and I just had fun. Now, I'm not going to recap the hour because that would be self-serving and goofy. However, the link is on the Facebook page. So if you go to the Brian Noonan Show Facebook page, you'll see a picture. And if you look at that picture, I didn't realize how short Roger and Dave are. Because if you look at that, it almost looks like I was standing on a milk crate, and I am not. I'm just towering over these two Lilliputians in this picture. It's a nice, my hair looks much grayer than it really is. It's because my head was so close to the lights. So I'm in there with Roger, Dave. We have a really good time. Roger's a great sport, and I roasted him like I had nothing to lose, which, haha, is true. I have nothing to lose. So it was great. We had a good time. I think I made Dave a little bit nervous a couple of times because he thought I was going to go off on some horrible tangent, but I have no bridges that need burning, so I wasn't going to do that. Matt Bubala called in for a little bit, so that was fun. He actually called in from a wedding, so it was nice. I was able to be mean, and I use the air quotes because that's how some listeners used to think I was to Roger. You're so mean to Roger. Why are you mean to Roger? That's not nice to be mean to Roger's so nice. Why are you mean to Roger? I'm not being mean to Roger. Roger brings this on himself. So we were able to. It truly was a roast. We did a This Man and Old Man Music history and had a lot of fun. And then after the show, the three of us went out drinking. And by drinking, I mean Roger sat there. I'm not going to tell it all because we got to talk to him in person next week about this. But many of you know that when people get to a certain age in social settings, they enjoy talking about their health conditions. And I think Roger has reached that point in his life. There was a lot of talk about health issues. There was a lot of just fun. It was fun. The three of us just hanging out, and I got to see how picky Roger is about his beverages and how picky Dave is about his tables. And so we had a really good time. It was nice to be able to go to see those guys and go out and actually be back in a place that had a lot of good memories for me. GN held a lot of really good memories. There was, no bad blood. So it was a big deal. And we were talking about how long Roger had worked with each of us, with Matt and Dave and myself. And he and I had worked together for over 12 years, almost 12 years. So that's a long time. So I congratulate Roger on his retirement, and we'll talk to him next week. So it was fun. And the place looked the same, Got to see David Jennings, one of the news people. Got to see Dan Long, one of the great engineers at WGN, who I haven't seen. And I haven't seen these guys in a long time, over a year and a half. So it was good to see those guys and, sneak into people's office and mess with stuff. I sat on John Williams' desk and let some gas go. That's not true. So it was good. And nobody was there, other than David Jennings, Dan Long, and the four of us, Roger, Dave, Tom, and myself. So it was just like, that was really like the old times. Cause there weren't a lot of times when I was in there where there was actual full staff on hand. So we had a good time. And if you want to listen, the hour goes, it's not a full hour on the podcast because Tom takes out all the commercials and tightens everything up. And he may or may not have edited out one thing that I said, only because, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Excuse me, sip of water. Usually Cody talks and I can take a sip of water. So you know me, I tend to fixate on things. And there was an innocuous comment that I made at the end of Matt Bubala being on. But then I fixated on it. And I fixated on it the whole way to the bar. And as I was drinking my first old fashioned, I said to Dave, man, I there's only one thing I wish I hadn't said. And Dave immediately gets on the phone, calls Tom. I hear him go, yeah, it was really funny, but cut it out. So, so that will go down. If we're ever at a bar and you buy me an old fashioned, I'll tell you what I said. But yeah, or if you were listening live, you heard it. And then if you listen back to the podcast, which is linked on the Brian Noonan Show page, you can see if you remember. Spot the difference. It's like one of those magazine pictures when you were a kid. You got to find the differences in picture B from picture A. See if you can spot the difference from podcast A to live broadcast. It's gone. It's a mystery. It's like the Kennedy papers. We can't let it out till it's all redacted. So Christine says Roger did giggle the whole time. Roger was out of his mind. Well, let's be honest. Roger loved this. Roger loved it. He's been on this goodbye tour. Like listen, I'll give Roger, he's a local treasure. But Roger's been on a goodbye tour like he's a national treasure. This is like when Dan Rather dies, people aren't going to worry as much as they are when Roger's leaving. He has been on every show, and he published. Now we are all going to watch him on this because he said one of the reasons he's retiring is so that he's going to wean himself off social media. We're going to make a bet next week, and we're going to see. I don't think that's true. But it was. I keep saying it was fun because it really was. Because there's a certain freedom in knowing that you really can't get in trouble. What are they going to do other than tell Dave you can't have him on anymore? Which I don't think would happen based on Friday. But I really could say anything. And so I did. We had, So go ahead, listen to that. Remember, Roger will be here next week, and we'll have a good time. Oh, man. It has been a crazy week. It's getting crazier. We added a couple new decorations because Sunday is Halloween. I don't know if you know this. If you're getting ready for Halloween, it is just, it's insane. It's very looking like the weather is going to be great. It's Sunday. I still can't nail down when trick-or-treating is actually happening in Chicago. If you look up in the city, they're doing a whole week of goofiness. I just need to know what time people are going to start banging on my door on Sunday. We tried calling our alderman, and it might be starting at 3. It might start a little earlier. Could go to 6, might go to 8. We don't. It's like, what? So I never know when to shut the door. Last year was weird because we were sitting outside because you remember there was a lot of debate whether people could go trick-or-treating or not. So we had individually bagged up our candy and put it on a table. And then I sat back from the table with Debbie and had a couple beers and watched the trick-or-treaters come. Well, this year, I guess they can come to the door. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm glad the kids will come to the door. We've got all the candy. I put it in so last week, I'm watching these reports on the supply chain and how you can't find anything and how everything for Halloween is already gone. I'm like, I panicked. We didn't have our candy. So my strategy is always go to Costco or Sam's and buy the big bags because the years that kids have not come, if there's extra unopened bags, you can take them back, which is terrific. That's why I love the big box stores. You can take the stuff back. So I went last week and I got all the candy, and I called Debbie from Costco, and they had the big bags of 150 pieces of the chocolate, Mars chocolate. So it was Almond Joys, M&Ms, Kit Kats, Snickers, the whole 9 in there. Very fantastic. 150 pieces in a bag, and I say to Debbie, all right, here they are. I've got them. And I panicked because normally when you go into Costco or Sam's, the Halloween candy is up front and there's tons of it. And I walked in and there was nothing. And then I saw the Christmas decorations and I'm like, oh, I am screwed. I waited too long. I'm going to be that guy giving out little bags of pretzels or potato chips, all the stuff kids don't want on Halloween. I'm like 3 steps away from being the toothbrush guy because you go pretzels, potato chips, then maybe you drop down to a granola bar, then it's apple, and then it's toothbrush, and then your house is burned down. So I'm never going to dip into that lower tier. I got to have candy. Well, now I'm panicked and I start running around Costco like a lunatic, pushing the giant cart. Mike, I'm not giving away pennies. If you're giving away pennies, you deserve every horrible thing that happens to your house. It's almost as bad as giving away those Mary Janes, those old lady caramel peanut butter deals that they just pull out your teeth and they taste like waxy peanut. It's horrible. So yeah, if you're giving away pennies, you might as well just move. Why don't you just put one big bowl of pennies out and let the first person who comes take them to Coinstar and cash in the $4 that you spent on Halloween, and then you can go on about your business, but you better never come home. So I called Debbie and she's like, get 6 bags. I'm like, 6 bags? That's 6. That's 900 pieces of candy. And you can't give just one of those little fun size deals. You know, you gotta give 2 or 3. You gotta toss in a couple. So I'm like, all right, 900. I got them home, and I know myself. Last year, we bought the candy, and before Halloween, we had gone through a bag of 150 pieces, just about. I think maybe there were 20 pieces left in this bag. So this year, I take the whole box filled with all this candy and I put it down in the basement because I figure if I can't see it, I'm not going to eat it. That lasted till, I don't know, beginning of the weekend. So maybe Friday. Debbie goes, I'm going down. I have to open one of those bags of candy. I'm like, what do you mean? I got to have a piece of candy. I can't have it in the house and not have a piece of candy. I got to go have a piece of candy. I'm like, all right, but don't bring it up. Okay. So she goes down to the basement because she's able to walk better now. She's able to, she's going back to the doctor this week. She'll be starting physical therapy. So she's able to walk. So she walks down to the basement. I hear she comes up with a few pieces of candy. She goes, you want one? No, I'm going to try my best not to. Well, I have not been, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Now that the bag is open, occasionally when I go down to the basement to either do some laundry or iron or use the bathroom down there or whatever, I may grab myself one piece of candy. But I've never taken more than one. And I think total in this 4 or 5 days, I've maybe had 6 pieces of candy. So the candy is all here. I don't know where the kids are going to go. I don't think we're not going to bag up candy and sit outside again. We're just going to have the giant bowl. And, because as gruff and antisocial as I sometimes appear, I really, really enjoy when the kids come trick-or-treating. When we bought our first house, that was like the highlight of that first year. Kids coming to the house trick-or-treating. I remember standing in the living room, looking out the window like some love-struck teenager, waiting for children to come so I could give them candy, which sounds creepy, but really it isn't. If you're a homeowner, you know it's not creepy that I want to give children candy. I'm not pulling it out of my pocket. It's not semi-melted, and I'm not making the kids fish for it. I'm actually taking it out of a bowl and putting it in their bag. So that part is not creepy. Oh, Marta said her mom used to give out boxes of raisins. Ugh. One, I hate raisins anyway. I triple hate them on Halloween. Halloween is not, if you're going to participate, it's not a day for healthy snacks. Halloween is all about debauchery. It's about eating too much candy. It's about getting bloated. It's about the scary threat of maybe having a pin or a razor blade or some PCP in your Snickers bar. It's about all of those things. It's not about, here's some raisins, children. Enjoy yourself. Have a healthy snack. Healthy snack my ass. I don't want a healthy snack. I want to eat so much sugar that I am on the ceiling beating my head on the wall. That's how much sugar I want to have. So we're ready. I've got to make sure Walter is calm because Walter's going to be here for Halloween and Walter doesn't adjust well. So Walter's going to be here. Our dogs don't care about Halloween. Lawson will just lay on the couch. He'll look out the window and see the kids coming up and he'll enjoy it. Gidget may bark a little from the backyard. She'll look through the gate and see the kids, but that'll be fine. We, sad news on the Halloween front from the house. I've been a big fan of exterior illumination since I became a homeowner. Even when I had an apartment, I would do some exterior illumination on the balconies. 20 years ago, our first Halloween in our house in California, we bought, again, at Costco. Weird how a lot of my Halloween stories revolve around Costco. Good prices there at Costco. And I'm not getting paid by Costco at all. Costco, if you're listening, though, come on. I'm a good shill. 20 years ago, we bought a 8-foot inflatable Frankenstein at Costco. And other than changing light bulbs every year, every couple years, he has served us well for 20 years. He actually looks incredibly like one of the insatiable insomniacs, CB. So I took to calling him Frankenload because he looks a lot like him. But Frankenload has graced our yard in California, in Frankfurt, in our last yard, and in this yard for the last couple of years. So it was it was with much chagrin this year that when I took Frankenload out, I checked the bulbs. Okay, a couple bulbs need to be changed. I did that. I started to inflate him, and the motor was going, but he was not holding air like he used to do. He was not getting, and I say this with no irony, he was not getting fully erect. And when your Frankenstein is not fully erect, that is a disappointment for all involved. So I got him out there in the front yard, and he's kind of lilting to one side and he's hunched over. And I finally realized it's 20 years of being out in the elements. The sun, the rain, the cold, the heat, everything. When the lights are on, you can kind of start to see through the seams. So he has just gotten so thin that he doesn't hold enough air. But he's holding enough air to stand up enough to still be the centerpiece of the creepy yard. But we started thinking, well, this is his last year. 20 years of service. Congratulations, Frankenload. You have been a true Halloween warrior in our yard. And I think back 20 years ago, we might have paid like $40 for him. So that was a pretty big investment. We got our money's worth, I think. That sounds good. Yeah, Patrick's having trouble holding his air as he gets older. Me too. My air is, well, I might have released some air now. Who knows? I don't know. Patrick says he also gives out comic books and a fun-sized piece of candy. I give the candy too because the comics confuse some of the kids. Sure, because they can't read. You been in a school lately, Patrick? These kids are having, but they do read a lot of graphic novels, so I think comic books will be right up their alley. They hold the comic up to whoever is escorting them around with a what the heck look on their faces. Yeah, so you throw in a piece of candy, and then, when they get home and they empty out their bag, they'll look at that comic book, put it to the side, and then, a day or two later, when they're lying in bed with a bloated diaphragm from all the candy, then they'll have time to read, so it'll be fun. So anyway, Frankenload is withering away, and we decided we've got to replace him. So we go on, and we reuse Halloween and all holiday decorations for as long as we possibly can. We just realized tonight another thing may have blinked its last, but we started looking for a new inflatable. And Debbie's belief is that Halloween should be creepy. Halloween is not cutesy fun. Halloween is not, oh, don't be scared. Halloween is supposed to be as creepy as possible. So as we're looking at all these inflatables, everything is too cutesy. Everybody's smiling, all the jack-o'-lanterns, all the witches, everybody's nicey nice. And to be honest, Frankenload had a smile on his face, but his eyes still looked a little creepy, and he was reaching out. So he fit the mold. We also had a ghoul that I bought at a Party City in Stevenson Ranch, California. I don't know why you needed to know all those details, but you needed to know that it was also this product's 20th year. And he was rubber. So 20 years of being outside of the elements, the rubber had dried and cracked and it was falling. It was really stretched out. So we knew he wasn't going to make it. Well, Sunday, he gave up the ghost. No pun intended. Pun unbelievably intended. Drops. Boom. So the ghoul had to go. So now we're looking for a ghoul replacement and an inflatable replacement. We found an inflatable replacement. So now the yard has not only the hunched over Frankenload, but it has a 9-foot scary pumpkin-headed beast that I put up today. It just came today, so I added it to the yard. Because we're trying to be cost conscious. Because we're not, I'm not pulling in Cody money. I don't have that Discovery money rolling in. So we found one at Wayfair. I set it up. It's fantastic. It fits Debbie's brand of scary. It fits my brand of exterior illumination. We found a really cool hanging ghoul the other day for like $13. So he's out there. So the yard, oh man, here's the thing. I want it so scary that small children are afraid to come to the door. That's what I want, like 4-year-olds to walk up and see it and go, and their mom and dad have to go, oh, it's okay, it'll be fine. And then they start to walk up and they see the skeleton lantern holder and the big beware metal thing, and they lose their mind. That's what I want Halloween to be. I want people to think, oh, isn't that nice? That family is in the spirit. But in the back of my mind, I want them to go, this house is freaky. We don't want to come in, which would be fine. Because then you know what? 900 pieces of candy for Daddy, minus whatever Debbie eats this week. So 748 pieces of candy. That's what we got. I wish Costco sold an inflatable Roger. That would be terrifying. I would be afraid to come to the house if we had an inflatable Roger. That would make me a little queasy. So I would not like it. So the house is ready. The candy is here. We're all set. I can't wait. Friday, I have to wear a costume to school, which is troublesome. I have a nice clown costume that I wore. My mom had made it years ago, and then she lent it to somebody, and we didn't have it. We couldn't find it for years, and I would always ask her, hey, where's that clown costume? Because it's one that I could wear. It's got a hula hoop around the belly. It looks like, ooh, look, fat clown dancing. It's not scary clown, but I can't be scary at school, so I got to be friendly. But now once I put it on, I really can't go to the bathroom. I wore it to school a few years ago, and I had to keep asking other teachers to fasten the back of it for me after because I would wait as long as I could. But then like a little dog or a small child, I was doing the dance, the pee-pee dance, and I had to run and try to get this clown suit off and drop this giant hula hooped clown costume to the floor. And then when I'm going to the bathroom, I got to make sure I'm not, dribbling on the clown suit, because nothing says, ooh, this clown should have a white panel van and take me outside to the edge of town more than a pee-stained clown suit. So we don't want to. So I'm trying to decide if I wanted to be the clown again, but I don't know. The kids will all come and they'll all be ninjas, and there's going to be, they don't allow the kids to bring swords, which kind of takes all the edge away from a ninja. A ninja without a sword is just a kid in a black hoodie. And then you go, all right, I guess that's going to be fine. But, what are you going to do? So that's Friday. It's also This is how I had to be a huge hypocrite at school yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, I've been working at this one school as a building sub. So I'm in and out, different rooms all the time. Excuse me, Cody, talk. Cody. Oh, that's right. He's not here. So this was the week. If you have kids in grade school, this is Red Ribbon Week. For those of you who are not up to speed with Red Ribbon Week, it's a week where you were supposed to swear off drugs. And it was started after a DEA agent, Kiki, and I forget his last name. He was killed by drug lords, and his body was never found. So they started this, and it's the kids take a pledge to say they were going to remain drug-free. Remember, we used to do DARE to say no to drugs and all this. So it's another one of those programs in the school to keep the kids away from drugs. And they lump alcohol in with the drugs, so yesterday I'm in this class. I got to run a little video, show them all about Red Ribbon Week. And then I have to tell the kids, hey, look, I have these pledges. And it basically says that you're going to, you're not going to get into drugs. You're going to care about yourself so that you don't do this. All really good stuff. All fine. But it's not mandatory for the kids to sign these things. And I got to keep telling them that, because they're like, make sure you tell the kids they don't have to sign it. And I'm like, okay, fine. All right, kids, you don't have to sign it. But this is how we bribe them. But if you do sign it and tell us you're going to be drug-free, we're going to give you one of these red bracelets that you can wear all. Oh, kids love swag. Oh, yeah. That's what I need. I need me a red bracelet. Sure, Mr. Noonan, I'll sign the pledge. And I'm thinking, okay. So they all signed the pledge. Well, they had given a pledge for me to sign. And the kids are like, are you going to sign the pledge? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I guess I'll sign the pledge, but then I'll probably go home and have a glass of wine or something. So I don't know, because like I said, they lump everything in together. And we all know now, with marijuana legalized, you've heard the story of my dabbling now after all this. So am I lying to the children to get them indoctrinated into the Say No to Drugs campaign? You bet I am. I'm going to lie to these kids. So I signed mine. I didn't wear the red bracelet. That would have been, my hypocrisy knows some limits. And that was it. I'm not gonna parade around with a red bracelet on like I'm, some teetotaler, like I'm some, Puritan who's never had any sort of substance in my body. But one kid wasn't going to sign because he said, drugs are legal now. Fair enough, attorney. This guy's like, Perry Mason, I got you. So I said, well, not all drugs are legal. He's like, all right, well, I don't want to sign it. Okay, don't sign it. You don't get one of these shiny red bracelets? I don't care. Neither do I. All right, have a good day. So that was my hypocrisy with the children. All right, we're going to cut this a little short this week because one, as you can hear, my throat is starting to go because I don't have any breaks. This isn't like being on the radio where I'd have some breaks, but we're going to go. So a couple things before we get out of here. I'll be back on WTMJ this Saturday, October 30th, from 4 to 6 p.m. So I hope if you are in the listening area that you will join me on WTMJ, which is always, always, always a lot of fun. 670 on your AM dial or WTMJ.com. I will, of course, post updates on the Facebook page. And for those of you who have been saying, hey, Brian, we hear tell that you used to crack some jokes. You were slinging jokes all over the country. Yes, and I've been back slinging jokes, and I will be slinging jokes again on November 13th. That's a Saturday night, and I'm going to be in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. That's right. At the Evergreen Country Club. Look at me, fancy. I might wear a sport coat. You never know. I might not wear pants, but I'll have a sport coat on because it's a country club show, and I want to be fancy. It's not Bushwood, so I don't think I'll be out on the golf course trying to hit my ball into the lumberyard, Danny. But other than that, it should be fun. So I'll post that on Facebook too. If you're in that area, it's a dinner show. Oh my goodness, it's a big dinner show. So there's a cash bar, past appetizers, a buffet with chicken parm, prime rib. Oh, I'm gonna have to renegotiate so I get some of this chow and cheesecake. So if you go to evergreengolf.com/comedy nights, evergreengolf.com/comedy nights, which I have just put in the chat. So everybody can, if you'd like to get that, you can get, I think that's it. Probably not. I'm going to have to get rid of that's too much. That's too much stuff there. So we'll figure it out. But there's that. So there's stand-up coming up. There's radio coming up. There's a lot of things happening. Halloween is coming, and I will try to live down before I leave you with the, if you've heard the classic saddest Easter story ever, you know that my Halloween also sometimes is, that's not what I wanted to do. The Halloween story is sometimes just as bad, because there was one year I think I was in, I don't know, it all kinds of blends together. My mom hates when I tell these stories. I was in fourth grade, let's just say. And fourth grade will do it. So fourth grade, and they'd been doing a lot of construction at school, because I went to Catholic school, St. Kieran in Chicago Heights. And they were building a new church out in what used to be the parking lot. So there was dirt everywhere, big clods of dirt. And for a while, the guys would throw dirt clods because we were that intelligent. Oh, man, so smart throwing dirt clods. Always fun to throw a dirt clod. So I got in trouble for throwing the dirt clods. And they called my parents because, there's a lot of serious issues. Nothing to do with school. I hadn't sassed a nun. I didn't, bring a poster of The Exorcist to school. I had just thrown dirt on the playground. So my mom and dad were like, listen, if you do this again, you're not going trick-or-treating. I was like, all right, whatever. Well, my constitution was not as firm then as it is now, and I bent to peer pressure, and I hurled a couple dirt clods. Now, did I hurl them at anybody? No. Did I do any property damage? No. So I didn't get in trouble. But I was an honest lad. That went away fast, because I went home and my dad said, did you throw any dirt clods at school today? And I'm thinking, well, he wasn't there. Nobody said anything. They wouldn't have called him. But why would I lie to my dad? And I said, yeah. All right, you're not going trick-or-treating. What? I had my costume. I remember it well. I was going to be the big bad wolf. My mom had made, this is another thing. My mom used to make a lot of our costumes. Debbie used to make Molly's costumes when she was little, but my mom made ours, and they were always, most of the time, they were really high quality clown suits that we would pass down, and all kinds of stuff. There was clowns, there was scarecrow costumes, there were all kinds of things. And so she had made me this wolf costume, and I then had bought, or they had bought me a wolf mask. So I had this wolf body, full body costume and a mask. I was going to be the big bad wolf. Oh, it was going to be fun. I couldn't wait to go trick-or-treating. It was going to be great. Nope. So Halloween comes. Now, we lived in a neighborhood that had a ton of kids. They made me sit in the living room and look out the window as all these kids came trick-or-treating to our house. And as my younger brothers got to go trick-or-treating. And I sat there and watched. And it was one of the worst nights of my life. If you followed this show long enough, you know this story sounds very familiar. I really was the guinea pig when it came to punishments in my house, being the oldest of 5. And some of these punishments leave a mark and explain to this day why I am like I am. So I didn't get to go trick-or-treating. I watched all the kids come. I didn't get to, my brothers wouldn't share their candy because I didn't go trick-or-treating, so I didn't get any candy. And I think my parents felt bad because they felt bad. After a lot of these major punishments, they realized the error of their ways and went, we may have done the classic, the punishment far outweighs the crime situation, which I think if you make a 4th grader sit and watch everybody come trick-or-treating just because he threw a dirt clod at school, you're teaching him one thing: never tell the truth. Because if you tell the truth, you're screwed. So that's what I took away from that lesson. But they felt bad. So the day after Halloween, we were driving into my grandpa's house because we didn't get to see him on Halloween. And we were going to wear our costumes. And my mom and dad were like, why don't you wear your costume to grandpa's house and take this bag and you can make your own trick-or-treat bag out of this grocery bag from Garfalos. And so I went, and my grandpa gave me a bunch of candy. But other than that, yeah. Sally said, what did it prove? Nothing other than who had the power. Yeah, they did have the power, and they wielded it mercilessly. So now somehow my mom's going to hear that I told this story. Why did you tell that story about Halloween? It didn't happen. It did happen. Everybody in the family knows it. Well, I don't remember it. Okay, well, then that means it didn't happen just because you didn't remember it. So yes, that is, that's why I like those kind of punishments. I never, like, we grounded Molly and we took things away from Molly, but I never went for a big holiday. You're never going to forget this type of punishment. Like no Easter basket, no trick-or-treating. I'm one holiday away. The only thing I'm missing is they never took away Christmas. I think that would have been too much. Gary Meyer used to tell a story about his parents taking away Christmas from him and his brothers and sisters, and how it backfired horribly, and they ended up like at Walgreens or Kresge's or something, getting stuff on Christmas morning. So I think my parents were smart enough to know that Christmas would not have been the play. And I think they learned that from Halloween and Easter, because neither one of those punishments worked either. So that is that. And that's why I really embrace Halloween, because I like the kids coming, and I think to myself, wow, look at that. None of these kids have been punished so horribly by their parents. They must not be that bad. And then, of course, if I don't give the teenagers enough candy, they egg the house. And I've changed here. This is how much I've evolved over the years. I used to think if you were like 13 or 14, you were done. You shouldn't come. You shouldn't come trick or treat. Now, I got to be honest. I don't care. If you're not out terrorizing the neighborhood, you're not out shooting somebody, you're not out causing havoc, you want a few Snickers bars from me, that's fine. I bought them already. Money's gone. It doesn't cost me anything to give a 15-year-old kid a couple pieces of candy. Maybe, listen, again, I'm a hero. Maybe that small gesture of kindness will keep that child on the straight and narrow. Who am I kidding? But yeah, so that is that. Patrick said it happened today. There would be a video of you staring out the window posted on Facebook. Oh yeah, I'd shame my parents. They'd be, we'd go viral. It'd be horrifying. I'd shed a tear, one of those big tears like the littering Indian guy from back in the day. Just big sad tear. Well, listen, I'm going to wrap things up. I went a little longer than I thought because I guess I can talk. This is scary that I could. People used to tell me, you know what, you could sit in an empty room and just talk. And I was like, no, I need people that, well, you guys are there, so I know you're there, which is excellent. But yes, there is nobody else in the room because Gidget started whining when I shut the door, so even the dogs aren't here. So listen, have a great Halloween. We send our best wishes, of course, to Cody for a speedy recovery. Next Tuesday night, as I mentioned, Roger will be here. We're not going to go through his entire life story. That's been done ad nauseum, but we will see if he wants to share some untold stories from his time at WGN. My guess is he's going to keep his yapper shut, but we will try to pry it open and have everything drop out. So don't forget, this Saturday on 620 WTMJ from 4 to 6. I hope you can join me then. We're going to be previewing the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers with one of the vice presidents of Milwaukee Brewing. So we will do that. We'll play one of the holiday classics that I used to play every year on our Halloween show. There will be no Frankenstein trivia. Those of you who have been longtime listeners remember the debacle that was Frankenstein trivia. There will be no Frankenstein trivia. There might be some Halloween trivia though, so that'll be fun. You never know what'll pop up. So listen there, and if you want to see the big comedy show, I'll post the link there. If you're in the Elkhorn, Wisconsin area on November 13th, I will keep you posted on all of that. Don't forget to make sure you listen to Cody on the Curiosity Daily podcast. That's curiositydaily.com. So even though he's not here, we give him a plug because he works very hard. And it is always a pleasure to talk to you and to talk to him. So thank you for listening. Thank you for telling people about it. Make sure they follow. And we want to get the word out to as many people as possible. I do appreciate all of you for watching now and listening. So have a wonderful Halloween. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you again next week. Ta-ta.